So today I'm going to be doing my awakening guide. So to start, we have mutant class, and I believe Archangel is worth a generic gem, especially if you have the Sig stones to take him up to Sig 112. If you don't, and you don't have a 5-star Archangel, then he's worth a generic. But otherwise, I would try to put stones into him. Omega Red is worth a 6-star class if you can get him high Sig. I changed my high Sig emblem because it wasn't showing up on my iPad where I like to record. So it's that little circle star now. Just consider it like those Sig stones, except they have to go a long way. I don't know. Whatever. It's just an emblem. Namor, you can use a 6-star class gem on him if you can get him to max Sig. Colossus is worth a 6-star class gem. Wolverine is worth a 5-star generic. And he would be worth a 6-star class if he was as a 6-star, but he is not. Strife is worth a 6-star class gem. Sunspot is worth one if you can get him to high Sig. Magneto, Old Man Logan, and Havoc are worth 5-star class-based awakening gems. Moving on to skill class. We have one more generic contender, and that is Nick Fury. We have Aegon as a 6-star class gem worthy, and you need to be able to get him to high Sig for that to work. I would say anywhere between 100 and 150. Falcon is worth the class gem. I really like him awakened because of the extra crit that he gets. Blade is worth a generic, just that regen. It makes him very sustainable and a really good sustainable champion. Kingpin is worth a 6-star class gem, but not a 5-star generic. And the reason why that is the case is because there are very few options in the skill class, whereas there are a whole bunch of options over all 6 classes. So that is why the class gem is worthy to be used on Kingpin and not the generic 5-star. Elsa, Stealthy, and Killmonger can all be reasonably acceptable uses of a 5-star skill awakening gem. Moving on to science class, Captain America Infinity War if you can get him to high Sig. Void, I don't really think he needs high Sig. I mean, I would give him the Sigs if you do not have Cap or Thing. But he's fine if you just want to awaken him with the 6-star class. Thing, if you can give him a lot of Sigs. Immortal Abomination is also worth that 6-star class. It helps him a lot on defense and otherwise. Human Torch, Red Guardian if you can get him to high Sig, and Red Hulk, I guess ideally if you can get him to Sig 34, but those 3 are all worth class 5-star gems. Moving on to the Mystic class, Magic if you can get her to high Sig is worth a 5-star generic, so is Scarlet Witch under the same circumstances. Sorcerer Supreme is worth a 6-star class gem. You need to get her to Sig 17, but that's not an issue. Dr. Voodoo is worth that 5-star generic. Dr. Doom is worth that 6-star class. I don't think he needs Sigs at all unless for prestige. His best benefit is stealing that power gain. He gets that at Sig 1. Mojo is worth the 5-star generic. I think maybe he's worth the 6-star class too, and I would consider giving it to him if you run Mystic Dispersion and if you like Mojo. If you don't like Mojo's playstyle, do not awaken him. But he's a fun champion to play, and if you like him, awaken him with that 6-star class. Morningstar and Tiger are both worth 6-star class gems, but not 5-star generic for the same reason that I said with Kingpin. Their class, technically nobody needs the 6-star awakening gem in their class, and so there's a lot less demand for that than there would be for a 5-star generic, and that's why they're worth the 6-star class, but not the 5-star generic gem. Symbiote Supreme is worth that class gem. He doesn't really need his awakened ability, though. Moving on to Cosmic class, Hyperion is worth that 5-star generic. He'd be worth the 6-star generic, too, if they would ever bring him as a 6-star. Corvus Glaive is worth the 6-star generic, in my opinion. If you don't run Suicides, I would say he's worth it if you don't have a 5-star. If you have a 5-star, I would say he's probably not worth that 6-star generic gem. So Captain Marvel movie is worth that 6-star class gem. You need a Nick Fury. Otherwise, that's a little bit of an issue. But yeah, if you have a Nick Fury that you like using as a 5 or 6-star, then that's a go. I didn't really put that as a synergy because, for one, I don't have that insignia, but also, or on this sheet, but also just because Nick Fury's not really a big ask. Angela, if you can get her to Sig 101, I would say is worth it. Ideally to 182, but 101 is fine. That's 4 buffs to remove debuffs. Cosmic Ghost Rider and Collobsidian are worth generic 5-star, are worth class-based 5-star gems, and that's it. Venom is worth a 6-star class gem, but not a 5-star generic, and he's actually listed under Cosmic Ghost Rider and Collapsidian for 5-star class-based awakening gems. But the reason why he's worth a 6-star class is because that's what takes him over the hump as a rank 3 option, and so I think it's very valuable. Thor, Carnage, and Terrax all like it. Terrax is a little bit more for defense, I guess, but it's damage out of the gate, especially in Arena. Thor and Carnage, Thor gets the armor break that makes him hit hard. Carnage gets the bleed, power gains, so that's good. Moving on to tech class, Ghost. I would say she is worth that generic gem. Ideally, you want to be able to take her to like Sig 80 or so before she's really good, but obviously get her as high as you can. Use those generics on her. She's the only one really worth generic stones. Maybe Omega Red if you run Suicides. Guardian, and that's about it. But Ghost is worth that generic gem as well. She's the 4th and last option, in my opinion, that is worth that gem. Guardian is worth the class gem if you can get him fairly high Sig, probably the same level, around 100. Stark, Spidey, Doc Ock, and Star-Lord are worth 5-star generic gems. And here's where it is important. For Doc Ock and Star-Lord, if you want to take them to rank 3, they need to be awakened. So say you need to get Thronebreaker and you have an awakening gem and a tier 5 of tech class, awaken them and take them up with that class gem. But that's the only reason I would do it. If you can awaken them and you need them for Thronebreaker, that's when I would use it. Both Visions, Hulkbuster, Darkhawk are all worth the 5-star class. Warlock and Sentinel's awaken ability is kind of necessary for him to be decent, but I just really don't like his character as a whole. And although Warlock's awaken ability is essentially useless except on defense, he's just such a better champion that even though his awaken ability is kind of negligible, you're going to be using him so much that it's still a better benefit than someone like Sentinel. So overall, I would say there are 4 champions worth your generic 6-star gem. Archangel, especially if you don't have him as a 5-star. Nick Fury. Corvus Glaive, especially if you run Suicides or if you don't have him as a 5-star. And Ghost. And so that's just it overall. We'll see as we get more champions, as we get more awakening gems. Obviously, the more awakening gems in the game, the less stringent the requirements will be to use it. So, I mean, I hope you learned a lot. I hope you can go and awaken these champions and clear some content with them. So, thank you for watching and have a great day.